August 7th, 2026. Friday, 9:03 p.m. U.S. Central. A scary story. Officer Frosting was still surprised. He's about 6 feet tall, a rubber band mustache, wears a tan, yellowish, crumpled like a paper button shirt, a dark red fitting tie, big brown, possibly oversized gloves, black boots with rims on the bottom covered with his brown pants, a tall fashion hat that is whitish, yellowish, reminds you of mayo with a slap of old dry mustard, and wears a one-eyed fancy glass that he has to constantly readjust manually just to keep it on. This man has a dark, deep voice and a low-pitched tone. Not loud, but loud enough to hear him just from anywhere within 300 feet to 1,000 yards or more. Just that low tone that you can recognize even without meeting the guy. I'm sure you heard about his voice or may even own it yourself. But like they all say, this time it's true. It's a little deeper tone than you can imagine. Not disregarding that it's true in other stories. But it's also scary to hear his voice for the very first time. Do not make jokes about his name, any of his names. From the first to last, after all, we think of it, but no need to say it aloud. Point and or laugh. After all, it's just a name. He could change it, although it ruins. Dr. Hivika wasn't any ordinary doctor. He performed something else regardless of his name. It wasn't about pills, insurance, or anything medical, nope. Something indifferent from all the other doctors. And his degree, all I can say is he is a very smart man. His outfit was very gothic. Black rubber gloves, black pants, black vest with a black t-shirt underneath, a clean black and black tie, a black watch, black rubber dance shoes. He was heavily coated with black silk pants, and dark blonde hair comes to perfection, shaved instantly when it grew over 2 inches. No, he wasn't normal, not called a man. Most people said hi, even if they knew his name. No one would bother calling him human, let alone a man. People were frightened by the way he studied, the way he did his research. Can't say what all he has done was right or wrong, but I can say certainly one thing: all his homework was done. Nothing burnt. He had no pets, slept cold every night. He said, "Keeps my bones fresh." Dude, step aside from doctors and the Department of Boring. Tony was an average gamer. When he wasn't gaming, he liked to watch YouTube. Because of his eyesight, he wore glasses, blue rims, and was also gothic. He wore a black shirt with white tall sleeves, black dance boots, or dress shoes. Of course, some black silk pants did him a favor, and he never wore anything but plain clothing. No images or designs ever matter. In fact, he got picked on, all just because he never wore a shirt with an image on it. Later on, it became a fad. To step things aside, let's take a look inside of each one of these, starting with the police department. It looked like any ordinary police department. Nothing new, nothing different, same old smell, same old place. Well, to be honest, Tony, regardless of his age, still lives with his parents. The house smells like fresh laundry, except Tony's room smells like cod and french fries. Knowing the drinking size of his room, he sleeps, eats, and plays video games. To your left, cameraman, is his door to his room. Down to the center of the room is his whole entertainment area. a TV sitting on a shelf, with a shelf underneath with books, journals, or whatever. He had some consoles, a Wii U, a PS3, a GameCube, and much more. He played on his Wii most of the time. To the left side wall is his bed, literally just a mattress, nothing underneath, not even a spring box. At least the clown isn't underneath his mattress. To the right of the room is a lamp on top of a brown oak desk, just like the first desk I mentioned. Nothing underneath, or less you mean the leaky rotten floor being mixed with a carpet. As far as anyone was concerned, Dr. I. Viker lived in an apartment. I'd say an empty one because no one was sure he lived, well, anywhere. It wasn't anyone's true concern, only a random guess made by the public. No one was bothered to know why. Now that's out of the way, you learn more as the story goes on. A lady named Mandy, she had short-cut, dark blonde hair, hazel green eyes, she wore all black. She shouted, "Dr. Highvike! Dr. Highvike! We need your assistance!" They were in a building with offices. The walls were gray, the floors were wet and dry at the same time. The ceiling was wide with janitor lights everywhere, cracks in the wall. Ceiling was ready to collapse. The whole place was ready to shudder apart, and Dr. Highvike was sitting in a little office with no door, and it was all see-through glass. The walls, his floor was old, brownish, darkish, tannish, all at once. It was always wet. Surprised no one fell through, it was always leaking. She walked into his room and said, "Tanner, a guy with a white shirt, black tie, black rubber dance shoes, a watch, trim, dark blonde hair. His eyes were closed, a nice young man." She handed him a paper afterward. Right after he grabbed it, he took a sip of coffee. It said, "Hello, world," right before facing the wall, or just the other direction, like his role was over, almost like he was in a movie or roleplay. Odd. Of course, he just had a plain coffee cup workers use. I mean, it looked like a McDonald's coffee cup, but it was plain white with a stripe of gray a couple inches from the top of the cup. The coffee smelled so delicious, gosh, I can almost taste it. Dr. Highvike was sitting at his desk, which was a black desk with paperwork scattered all over computers. At least 3 or 4 was sitting on his desk. You could see another one sitting on your left. No, on the floor, cameraman. No, next to his desk. There you go. The desk itself was in the center of his office, more of just really close to the entrance/exit to his office. There is so much free space for the back of the wall. Matter of fact, he didn't even bother putting in a rug. He thought the desk took up enough room. Oh no, not the 6-foot tall black lamp with 3 giant heads leading down towards the floor on the right side of the room. That's clearly too small for his room, not something that goes under your feet. Oh, that's clearly way too big. Anyways, no more gaslighting Dr. Highvike for now. Dr. Highvike was sitting in a black office chair facing his desk. He decided to turn around to face the nice young man and Mandy. Slowly, the chair turned, creak, and he faced them finally. What felt like an hour. Really, what? Dr. Highvike questioned with one brow raised with the question. Tanner did it right back at him. It was hard not to smile for Tanner, but on the other hand, Dr. Highvike seemed to be a very serious man. The camera was cut off as they were moving to the next scene. Knocking at the door. The door number was number 17. There was screeching. It sounded like bloody murder at the exact same time. Times matched up incorrectly sometimes. It was honestly a mistake to show up at that hour. We couldn't make out what it was from the outside, but sounded like a woman or a ghost that screams. Please don't make me type difficult words. Thank you. We weren't sure what was happening on this Halloween night, or at least it felt like it. The screeching horror was none of our business. Matter of fact, Officer Frosting was ready to sit his potbelly on the sofa in 5 minutes. Well, at least when he finally got home. His shift was almost over. He wanted nothing to do with the screeching. Just thought to himself, this is a prank. And kept knocking. He started chewing on a donut from yesterday's breakfast, or what's left of it. Waiting patiently, he went on his dating app on his phone. He looked at girls and swiped instantly as he said no, over and over quietly under his breath to himself. Finally, the screeching stopped. It all stopped. It's like time all of a sudden taking a nap. Officer Frosting almost had a thought to himself. But as the door opened, he hurried his donut down his gob and walked inside. He didn't bother to ask. He just looked inside. On the wall was a TV on the shelf. To the right of the TV was an old-looking clock. A fire pit under the TV. Yes, the TV was cooked, probably. Stockings were right under the TV, nailed in perfectly, right under the same shelf. Yes, whoever did that, was it Uncle Larry? Whoever they were, did a fantastic job. Even the nail was sticking 3 inches past the socks. First Halloween, awesome. How many holidays are celebrated at once? Officer Frosting had no thoughts of it, any of it. To the left, it looked like a kitchen. Now he has some thoughts. Nothing to share. Everyone has secrets and doesn't want to share everything with everyone all the time. They had a long discussion. Well, to Officer Frosting, it was too long, way too long. After 30 minutes of talking, Officer Frosting said bye and left. He literally closed the door on her, slammed shut. Whatever happened in there, he was done. Slam! Officer Frosting gets in his police car, turns it on, and plays the radio. It's a police car. What do you want from me? Anyways, it goes from rock, only 3 seconds, and shuts to static. Also, he can hear the screeching again. He gets red in the face and turns the radio off. Kirk, kirk, kirk. It sounded like the engine cranked in reverse. The wheels slowed down almost to the point he stopped. And eventually he did stop. And a loud bang came from the exhaust a few seconds later after he came to a final stop. Luckily, he was at a stop sign. He opens the door and the camera stops rolling. Like you're watching a movie at home and it skips to a commercial break. Yeah, you are in the story too, weirdo. Why wouldn't you? Someone you love says, I have to use the bathroom. Now everyone is lined up for the restroom, like you're at an actual theater. Oh boy, here we go again. Fingers are pointing at you, by the way. The camera now cuts back to Officer Frosting. He's staring at the back of his police car. It's smoking. He thinks, this isn't good. No, of course not, Officer Frosting. Not good. Not good at all. He backs away from the car and takes out his phone. The battery is now dead. The screeching gets louder. His ears start to literally bleed, and he doesn't notice it. The blood dripping from his ears all the way down his clothes, and a single drop hits the ground, though, which is odd. He says, I don't understand this. Just talking to himself on a dead end street, standing there with no one around because he told them he's a big boy now. He doesn't need anyone's help. He said, oh boy, do I stand corrected, but I didn't expect things to be all wobbly. A drip of blood falls from his ear to an open finger, but that very moment it landed on his skin, it quit. No, it didn't drip. There's no blood. Matter of fact, now that he noticed that there's no blood on his finger anymore, it's like he wasn't bleeding to begin with. He said, huh, odd, to himself. Once again, talking to himself, he thought, I am going crazy or a nut. He wasn't too sure if that made sense, but what makes sense right now, right? The screeching stopped. Finally, once again. Good, because he's not going back in there. He can't. He's off duty. He's not risking anything. As far as he knows, a blow to the head with a shotgun will answer the door. No way, Jose. He tries to start his car back up, but realizes a big detail. The keys are gone. Or he just misplaced them. After hours of searching, the guy is walking on the sidewalk. His clothes don't matter. The man stops in his tracks and says, while staring at Officer Frosting with his blue eyes, I caught you. He says. Officer Frosting ignores the man and continues to try and find his keys. Merely sweating at this point, and yes, the sweat is real, unlike the blood. The man looks like he's dressed for a private a party with a black looks like suit. Case walks away. Officer Frosting takes a second glance as he walks the other direction. He sees a gleam and must know what that guy is holding. Officer Frosting looks nervous. The screeching starts up again, but from a different spot than last, and louder than before. It's louder and louder, and Officer Frosting's ears start bleeding at this time, except he notices right away and he shouts, hey, come back here. He starts. The fat man jogs. The man walks into nothing as he was a ghost. The second the man disappears, the screeching stops. When Officer Frosting looks back at his car, or the road where a car was, there is now gone. Yep, he searches his pockets real quick and finds his keys. Then he hears a voice. He recognizes that voice. Officer Frosting dramatically thinks to himself, that voice. That's my ex. His own thoughts got caught off guard when he felt something tapping on his right shoulder. He looked to the right, and to his surprise, that was 7 foot tall, all droopy black and icky looking. It hardly had a face. The thing tilted its head at Officer Frosting and made a faint, scary laugh. How odd. Its own feet started to swim right underneath Officer Frosting. It yelped faintly and said one word Officer Frosting could make out. Run. The tape recording played yet again and again for Dr. Highvike. Dr. Highvike said, again, play it again. So the tape played once again. Officer Frosting still looked traumatized as he plays the tape. It played or sounded like run. Dr. Highvike quietly plays in his chair paying zero attention to reality. The ground started to shake beneath them. The room turned red, everything turned red. Music started playing from an old record player that sounded like your great-grandfather's favorite from World War II. It started skipping, the power turned out, and a loud bang came from outside. Lightning struck and rain started pouring. Someone was standing at the door, looking paralyzed. Everyone gazed their attention to the door. They saw a figure. Dot, dot, dot.